series of videos that I decided to do to show you how you can take very basic, very simple exercises that most of you know and make them more and more difficult and challenging. These are exercises that will work on all your stabilizing muscles. There's a lot of core, all your abdominals will be working, plus the particular muscle groups that you're trying to work at the same time. So this video is devoted to shoulders. A lot of you want nice looking lean shoulders or strong looking shoulders, defined shoulders, so these exercises will definitely help you. And they will also work triceps and biceps in many cases. We're doing a variation of two basic movements that most of you know. One is the overhead shoulder press, done whether on the machine or with dumbbells on the bench. I'm going to do them on the ball. That helps us to incorporate more core, more balance. And I'm going to start with dumbbells on the ball, with both legs being on the floor and arms to the side, and it's just a straight press. Now make sure that you don't have neck issues or lower back issues. If you do, you might not want to do this unsupported exercise, okay? Bring them down and slow. It's absolutely fine to bring your arms all the way down. If your shoulder doesn't bother you, that's fine. If you want to decrease the range of motion because you've got some kind of shoulder issue, you should probably resolve the shoulder issue before doing it, but if you're going to decrease the range of motion, that's probably a smart way to do. So that's a very basic one. It adds a little bit of stability component, not so much, but a little bit, because you're forced to use your abdominal muscles, your back muscles, and so on to support you. So again, try to keep your head aligned with your spine and try not to arch your lower back. Your abs should be pulled in all the time and tightened, as well as your spine should be lengthened, so you're never sinking into the ball. Okay, you should never feel any back pressure in this exercise. And this is a variation of the one I just did, a little more core. As you can see, I have to sort of fight with the ball to keep myself in place, and I'm just keeping one leg up. Just make sure your hips are not shifting too much side to side. You still want to have the spine aligned as much as possible. And again, I'm just doing 8 for the sake of the length of the video, but 12 to 20 is what you want to do. And I'm lifting 12 pounds here. For most women, you probably want to start with about 8 pounds. If you're not a beginner, complete beginner, you wouldn't do this exercise as a complete beginner to start with, but 8, 10, 12 for guys, 15, 20, up to probably 25. Again, this is not the exercise where you're building strength or hypertrophy. You need to use much more stable surfaces for these exercises. Okay, so the same exercise with one arm. Both legs are on the floor. And again, it adds the stabilization component. So your core will be working a lot more. Make sure you keep your spine really, really straight. Your head should not be protruding forward. It should be nicely aligned with your spine. I'm just going to do one more, and then we'll do a variation of this exercise where I'm just going to switch arms, but I'm holding one leg up. So it's one leg off the floor and just one arm. This one is probably most challenging of the ones I showed you. Exhale as you push up and down. So your upper body should not be really moving at all. A little bit of your hips, if you're having trouble balancing, that's absolutely fine, as long as you're not constantly sliding. If you are, then that's just too difficult for you. So just go back a step or two and start with the exercises that are a little bit easier. So we're going to add another variation to this exercise. I just did this with the opposite leg on the floor, which is a little bit easier. A little bit harder will be on the same side. So basically, if you're lifting your right arm, then your right leg is on the floor. It makes it a little bit harder. Okay, and again, watch for your spine. This is what's happening. Keep your abdominals pulled in. Your back is really straight. You're not arching. Okay, nice control. If your neck is starting to bother you, you're probably lifting the weight that's too heavy. So start with something lighter. Make sure that you're not lifting the whole shoulder blade up. It's just the shoulder. staying in the same position, just the arm goes up, not the whole shoulder blade, okay? So stabilize that shoulder by contracting the muscles here, and then bring the shoulder blade down, okay? This should be the movement, not this. So the last variation on the shoulder press, and definitely the most difficult. Now this is really an advanced exercise, so please be careful. You can do it only if you've mastered all these previous exercises. It's done kneeling on the ball. It requires a lot of core control, a lot of balance and stability. You always want to be close to something you can grab onto in case you start rolling off the ball. You might want to have someone next to you. If you're strong, it's pretty safe, but remember there is always the possibility, right, of something happening. So what you do is you get with one leg on the ball, hold on to something while you do that, bring the legs somewhat apart, not too wide, and the way to help yourself stabilize is to flex your feet and push your toes into the ball. If I'm like this, it's much easier to fall. If I'm turning on all my calf muscles and pushing the toes towards the ball, then it becomes much easier. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit harder version with one arm just because I do want to have one arm free in case I start to roll to the side. If I had both dumbbells in, that probably wouldn't be possible. So again, I get on in the same position. Make sure you're stable. Okay, I'm gonna start a little bit differently versus from here to here, give you a little more range on the deltoid, and then if I can maintain this position for a split second, and if you're okay with it, then you can start pushing overhead. Again, my neck is not straining, my head is not moving forward or back, my spine is pretty stable. My abs are tight. Again, I'm just doing 8 to show you. It's okay for that ball to go somewhat forward and back, but it'll probably do it anyway. And one more. Another exercise that you all know, I'm sure, is a lateral raise. It works the shoulders really nicely. One thing to make sure not to do is turning the arms in. A lot of people do it. They think they will work the shoulder better. It actually causes a lot of impingement in the shoulder. If you have any problems, if anything, open it up slightly so that you're actually doing the lift like this. Okay, the normal way to do it would be with the dumbbell parallel to the floor. But we're going to do it challenging your core again, so you get a little bit of other muscles while you're working your shoulders. So I'm standing on the right leg, and bringing my left arm to the side. Okay, and again, I'm just going to do 4 because I'm going to switch my legs. This is a little bit easier. If you do it on the same side, same leg, same arm, it becomes a little bit harder to balance. Okay, and if you notice, my hand comes up higher than my shoulder, but my elbow never does. So I'm actually doing this, if anything, but I'm not lifting the elbow higher. So the end part of movement is somewhere like this, okay? So you're leading with the elbow, and you stop here. And again, you can bring the arm all the way down to the front here, which increases the range of motion a little bit more on the deltoid. If you start here, you're actually going to have more tension. It is harder because that muscle doesn't have a chance to relax. Right here, there's no more tension on it. So if you want to make it just a little bit harder, stop right here and then go out again. So same thing, more of a balance component. We're starting on the half roll. On this one, you can lean just a little bit more forward so that you're not touching the floor with the foot. I'm leaning forward just a tiny bit, and I'm actually adding a contraction to the glutes of the leg that's up in the air, and I'm bringing my arm to the side. Again, I'm going to do 4 and then switch legs. This is a little bit easier. And then switching legs. Now, what you want to do is do a set of either this or this. I'm just showing you for the sake of the length of the video here. I'm showing you 4 repetitions on each leg, but decide which one you want to do and then stick with it, whether it's a set of 12 or 15 or whatever it is. Okay, and doing the same lateral raise on the ball. Again, remember to hold on to something. Both legs slightly apart. You want to flex your feet, push your toes towards the ball, And then once you're stable, you might want to just try it back and forth just a little bit to make sure you can control that movement. And then you're going out to the side and out. Again, I wouldn't recommend it with both arms just because you want to have this other arm free just in case you start falling off the ball, you want to grab onto something. It's just for safety reasons. Okay, so this was sort of a general idea for a shoulder workout. We just talked about 2 exercises. Again, I'm trying to just show you the basic ones that you know and how you can create variations and increase the difficulty level. We'll do another workout on abdominals next time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for triceps and biceps. Keep these exercises within 12 to 20 repetition range. You don't want to lift too much weight. These are not exercises for improving your strength tremendously, for increasing hypertrophy and building big muscle. You can get really toned, you can get much leaner, you will improve your muscular endurance for sure, and start with lighter weights, for sure, lighter weights. Make sure you can stabilize correctly and that nothing is hurting, all your joints are stable, you can hold the positions that I showed you before you move on to full range and increasing the weights.